Shabbat Shalom. That was one of the nigunim, one of the melodies to Yedid Nefesh, which is a prayer that often begins Shabbat. We'll sing in a little bit. But if you haven't yet had a moment to greet the people around you and welcome each other and wish each other Shabbat Shalom, please let's take a moment to do that. You can stand up, cross the aisle. nefesh in the middle of the page. Our souls thirst for God. Yedid nefesh av harachaman meshoch avdecha el retzonecha yarutz avdecha kemo hayam yishtachaveh el mul hadarecha. Minofetzuv v'chol ta'am yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai lai yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai lai yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai lai yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai 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 yalalai lai 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 lai. Is the family of the Perlman B'nai Mitzvah? No, not quite. Okay. So we will continue with Lecha Dodi. It's on page 20. And we'll sing Karl Bach melody of Lecha Dodi verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 as we greet the Shekhinah, the Sabbath bride, and the spirit of the Shabbos. as we call up the Perlman family, Verissa and Larry, to light our candles in honor of Andre's bar mitzvah tomorrow, we're going to turn back in our Siddurim to page 2 for the blessings over candles and wine.
I like first.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Amen.
And there was evening and there was morning the 6th day. The heaven and the earth were finished and all their array. On the 7th day God finished the work that God had been doing. And God ceased on the 7th day from all the work that God had done. And God blessed the 7th day and declared it holy, because on it God ceased from all the work of creation that God had done.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu
melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidashanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho be'avaton inchilanu. Zikaron lemaaseh bereshit, ki hu yom techila lemikra kodesh, zecher tziyat mitzrayim, ki vaynu lacharta ve'otanu kidashta Mikol ha'avim, v'shabbat kodecha, be'ahava uvratzan, inchaltanu. Baruch atah Adonai, mekadesh haShabbat.
Chaim. Hey, hearty mazel tov to the whole Perlman family. Thank you, Rabbi. And we'll continue now with a reading, page 81. Tonight's service on the theme of the era is about seeing and noticing, paying attention to the world around us. And I invite us to read this together on the top of the page. I can stay the tears of others, for I can see myself as diminished of their sorrows. I can hasten time when everyone will be able to rejoice in freedom. And if I can see myself as the companion of those fighting against oppression, I can honor the struggle of people everywhere to gain dignity and deliverance from bondage. When I look at myself in the mirror, who will I see? And indeed, prayer invites us to reflect on who we really are as we make those prayers known to God, and in so doing, remind ourselves of our own aspirations. So we turn to page 28 for the Baruch, and please rise again. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Barechu et Adonai HaMevorach, Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed, Le'olam Va'ed. Yalla lai lai lai, 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 yalla lai lai lai. Let's read together page 30 in Hebrew or English. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, bechokma poteach she'arim, uvitavuna mishaneh itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umsader et hakochavim, b'mishmer borei yom v'layla, golel or mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei or. Uma'avir yom umevi laila, umavdil bein yom uvein laila, Adonai tzavaot shemo. El chai v'kayam, tamid yimloch aleinu leolam va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. Baruch atah Adonai hama'ariv aravim. And let's read together the top of page 33. Alternative Ahavat Olam. As you taught Torah to those whose names I bear, teach me Torah too. Its mystery beckons, yet I struggle with its truth. You meant Torah for me. Did you mean the struggle for me too? Don't let me struggle alone. Help me to understand, to be wise, to listen, to know. Lead me into the mystery. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. And Andre, I invite you to come forward and lead the Kahal, the community, in the Shema on the top of page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed. Please be seated. Okay. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha bechol levavecha uvchol nafshecha uvchol meodecha vehayu hadevarim ha'ele asher anochi matzavecha hayom al levavecha veshinantam levanecha vedibarta bam beshivtecha bevetecha uvlechtecha baderech ושוכבך וקפומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם.
Adonai Elohechem Emet. Mazel tov. Thank you. Shkach. And tomorrow, Andre will lead the whole service. But now you're done for tonight. One of my favorite texts from the Mishnah and Talmud appears in an excellent book I recommend. It's called Justice in the City, written by my friend and teacher, Rabbi Aryeh Cohen. Rabbi Cohen actually married me and my wife Nadia. He's a professor of Talmud at AJU in Los Angeles. And he mentions this Mishnah about the building of a gate outside of a courtyard. It states, they may coerce him to participate in the building of a gatehouse and gate for the joint courtyard. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel says, not all courtyards need a gatehouse. In other words, you're all looking at me puzzled. In other words, just as those of you who are in condo associations might have experienced, all can be forced to pay for a gate that they share. The Babylonian Talmud comments on this Mishnah, saying, this implies that the building of a gatehouse is a laudable thing. However, there's a story of that righteous person whom Elijah spoke with regularly. He built a gatehouse for his house, and Elijah no longer speaks to him. Thus, just because the condo association can force everyone to pitch in for a gate, so to speak, that doesn't mean it's actually a good thing to build one. Elijah in our tradition is the symbol of the Messianic era. He always appears in rabbinic literature as a poor person. A prerequisite to redemption is hearing the cries of the downtrodden. When we hear the cries of those in distress, there are two ways to respond. As in this week's Torah portion. Either like Pharaoh, who in this week's Parsha says no to Moses and ignores the cries, or we can respond like God, who in this week's Parsha hears the cry of the Israelites and begins to make good on God's promise of redemption. If we build a gate that blocks out all riffraff under the excuse of safety or whatever it is, we will be preventing people in the nice houses from hearing the cries of Elijah and from speaking with the Elijahs around us. When we see someone who is hungry or begging, we are commanded by the tradition not to avert our eyes. So too, when we hear the cries of those in need, we're faced with a choice, either to be like God or to be like Pharaoh. What happens when those who are crying out live on the other side of a long bridge or are too far away for us even to hear? We need to see folks on the street as part of our neighborhood. All the low-wage workers who commute to Miami Beach from much poorer communities and neighborhoods, we must see them as part of our community as well. Without them, surely our neighborhoods would fall apart. So as we prepare to sing the Micha Mocha, may we be blessed to experience redemption in the deeds we do for others. And that begins by paying attention, by opening our eyes to the pain in our midst and hearing the people's cries. Page 40. Micha Mocha Bailim Adonai, Micha Mocha Nedar Bakodesh, Nora Tehilot O Seifele, Nora Tehilot O Seifele, Malechutecha Rahu Vanecha, Bokei Ayam Lifnei Moshe uMiriam, Zeli Anu Ve'ameru, Adonai Yimloch Leolam Va'ed, Yalai Lai 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 Continue on page 43 with the top of the page with a Hashkivenu, prayer for shelter. Together, let there be love and understanding among us. Let peace and friendship be our shelter from life's storms. Adonai, help us to walk with good companions, to live with hope in our hearts and eternity in our thoughts, that we may lie down in peace and rise up waiting to do your will. Baruch atah Adonai, haporesu kat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. So we'll continue now with the Amidah, with our standing prayer, our chance to pray what's in our own hearts, even as we do so through the liturgy on the page. So we'll turn to page 46 and pray together through 52 out loud, and then have time for personal prayer through 62. You may be seated whenever you're through after the first few prayers, which we're standing for, and feel free to use the quiet time to sit in meditation as well, whatever is most meaningful for you. Page 46. Sfatai tiftach, Adonai Sfatai tiftach, v'yagid tehilatecha, u'v'yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'koneh HaKol, V'zocher Chastei Avot V'imahot, U'mevi Gula Livnei V'nehem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch Atah Adonai, Magen Avraham, Bezrat Sarah, Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh HaKol Atarav Lehoshia, Mashiv HaRuach U'Morid HaGashem, Mechalkel Chayim Bechesed, Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rofech Olim, Umatir Asurim, Kayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Bal Gevurot, Umido Melach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'nemanata l'chayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechaye hakol. Ata kadosh u'shimcha kadosh, u'kdoshim b'chol yom yulucha selam. Baruch atah Adonai, ha'el hakadosh. There's a paradox about seeing, which is that we can't see what we don't know, right? We can't know what we're blind to, and even as we ask God to open our eyes or to open our ears to the pain of those around us, we pray that we can open them more fully, that we may see even what we're blind to initially. So in your prayer book or in your booklet are the words of "Open Up Our Eyes," which is a nice song about this by Jeff Klepper. So please sing with us. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. Open up our eyes, teach us how to live, fill our hearts with joy and all the love you have to give. Gather us in peace as you lead us to your name, and we will know that you are one. We will know that you are one. So our hearts turn to those in need of healing as we turn to page 253, where we'll find the words of the Mishnah Berach. As a community, we are praying for the complete healing of body, mind, or spirit of Gail Ossip, George Lublin, Moshe Ben Cyril Bela Uruvain, Lenny Hecht, Bill Meadow, David Siegel, Judith Ryder Cornelissen, Muriel Dubrow, Marilyn Sheffman, Randy Aronson, Shirley Aronson, Roberta Ty, Vicki Engelman, Sherry Werbin, Chana Sarah Bat David, Chavalea Bat Hadassah, Bill Jean Smith, Linda Lee, Rachel Bat Miriam Mordechai, Ravi Patel, Harriet Pearson, Joe Meltzer, Jennifer Sargent, Sidney Traum, Chaim Moshe Ben Root, Avram Ben Chana Vishmuel, Doris Oleski, Erica Liverman, Blair Ross, Carol Spar, Carol Loven, Robert Loven, Bernice Sir, Evie Cat Martin, Earl Broidy, Claire Block, and Métis Bat Shoshana. If you are praying for someone in need of healing this Shabbat, please share their name with me. Thank you. And we continue to pray on behalf of American and, sorry, yeah. Thank you. We also continue to pray on behalf of American and Israeli soldiers who are missing in action, being held captive or in need of physical and emotional healing. 253 in the middle of the page. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. And just as so many of you stood as you thought of loved ones in need of healing, I invite you to stand as well this Shabbat if you have any milestone or occasion, happy occasion, that you would like to share with the community. So this is a moment to celebrate happy things in our lives together. So if you have something to share, please stand up. And at the end, we'll sing Shechianu for all of these, for everything you share. So, of course, we have the Bar Mitzvah tomorrow. Yeah, do you want? Yeah. and everyone celebrating with the Perlman family can stand up too. Do you want to say something, or? Yeah.
Very honored to be at this point. I know it was really hard to get here, but
Beautiful.
5 feet over here.
Yeah.
Very hard.
Wonderful. Yes. Oh, okay. Anyone else have something that they're celebrating? Yes, Fran. Wow, wonderful. Please remain standing. Everyone remain standing as we go through these. Yes, Jack. Wow, Mazel Tov. Amazing. It's official. Oh, well, stand up together then. Come on. Wonderful. Other happy things we can celebrate this week? Yes? I would like to partner on my offer. That's amazing. What a big weekend. Mazel Tov. This is a momentous Perlman family weekend. Mazel Tov. Yes. Yes.
I'm turning 8.
All right. That's awesome. That's great. Anyone else have a birthday in the month of January? Can stand also. And any anniversaries in the month of January? Yes? Okay, yes, something? Birthday. All right. Okay, let's all stand together. You can put your arms around each other as we celebrate this moment in the life of, in our lives, in the life of the community. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Remain standing, page 282 on the bottom of the page. And if the Perlman family, please come up to open the ark for Elenu. Thank you so much. Alenu l'shabeach ladon hakol latet gedula leoser breshit shelo asanu kigoye haratzot velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama shelo sam chelkeinu kahem v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam va'anachnu korim u'mishtachavim u'modim lifnei melech malchei hamlachim hakadosh baruch hu v'nemar v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz bayom hahu yeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad.
As the ark doors are closed, you may all be seated. Mazel tov for them. Double mazel tov to you.
Mazel tov. Congratulations.
Nice sharing. It is our custom as Jewish people to remember. In fact, it's been called the sixth sense of the Jewish people. Memory is the sixth sense of the Jewish people. In this week's Torah portion and next week's Torah portion, we have the story that becomes our core story of the Haggadah, of the Passover story. That's one of the ways we remember is by telling stories. Another way we remember is through Kaddish and through memorializing our loved ones. And at our synagogue, one of the ways we remember is by dedicating plaques in honor of the memory of the departed. And so tonight we have the privilege of dedicating this plaque in memory of Stanford E. Kane, beloved husband, father, grandfather, beloved dentist, and friend in our community. And we think of him as we dedicate this plaque, which will join the others in our alcove of remembrance. We have a prayer written by Hannah Senish on page 291 in our prayer books that speaks about how the light of our loved ones shines long after they are gone. And so we read this prayer together. There are stars up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we love. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. And it is our custom to say Kaddish, but before we do, I want to just take a moment for the family to think about Stanford, to think about all the values he imparted to you, the way he had a joie de vivre, the way he lived his life so fully, and all the ways you remember him. And so in his loving memory, we dedicate this plaque of Stanford E. Kane. Just about 1 year ago, he departed from this earth. And we have a poem that we often say here at synagogue for those who have died, whose memories stay with us. And so you don't have it in your prayer books, but I'm going to invite you to participate. At the end of each phrase, you'll say, "We remember them." In the rising of the sun and in its going down, we remember them. In the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, we remember them. In the opening of buds and in the rebirth of spring, we remember them. In the blueness of the sky and in the warmth of summer, we remember them. In the rustling of leaves and in the beauty of autumn, we remember them. In the beginning of the year and when it ends, we remember them. When we are weary and in need of strength, we remember them. When we are lost and sick at heart, we remember them. When we have joys we yearn to share, we remember them. So long as we live, they too shall live, for they are now a part of us as we remember them. And we turn to words of Kaddish, and before reciting these words, we think about all of those others who have died on this time, this season of the year, whose names have already been lovingly inscribed in our alcove of remembrance. We think of Charles Abbott, Minnie Abrams, Max Alterwine, Sophie Anson, Herman G. Barron, Gertrude Barrick, Mordecai Broad, Kate Brown, Ray Chesler, Florence Cohen, George Cohen, Donald Erlinger, Leroy Feinberg, Samuel Fine, Ben Friedman, Harriet Shirley Glickstein, Samuel Sidney Goldberg, Irving Goodman, Arnold Haber, Arthur Hill, Sylvia Irma Kalish, Stanford E. Kane, Saul Kay, Aladar Kellerman, Louis Krensky, Alfred Kronthal, Daniel Kushner, Joseph Lapidus, Seymour Levy, Jacob Lubin, Sam Matz, Sandra Miriam Mordahovich, Mabel Louise Niebuhr, Sidney Nolman, Zenith Pasternak, Evelyn Postelnik, Doris Rakoff, Ann Richard, Jane Sedler Rosen, Ruth Rosenblum, Betty Rosenthal, Leo Rosenthal, William Stanton Rubin, Edward S. Rubin, Ellen Rochelle Root, Joseph Shorenstein, Dorothy Rose Simon, Mary Spiro, Oscar Spitzler, Jacob Steiner, Carol Goldstein Tratt, Irving Wexler, Paula Wallowik, and Jack Young. And we remember all those other yort sites that are observed on this Shabbat: Max Alperstein, Ronald Asher, Rose Barish, Sylvia Barron, Mario Rubin Blinder, William Brandon, Jean Bryn, Frida DeHuki, William Dorfman, Kenneth Epstein, Herman Goldbaum, Sanford Sandy Goodman, Beatrice Greenfield, Emmanuel Greenwald, Monroe Hattenbach, Samuel Hirsch, David Jacobson, Jerry Klein, Clara Jean Cooper Klein, Howard Knobloch, Alexander Ziskin Levy, Carlos Lindenfeld, Robert Magoon, Olga Meister, Raymond Penny, Harold Rogenson, Sylvia Rubin, Nicole Lisa Science, Florence Sandler, Daphne Seelig, Ida Sherman, Arnold Shevlin, Sherman Simon, Celia Simon, Betty Amder Snetman, Alan Sway, Louis Tabor, David Weatherhorn, and Frida Walkowski. And we think as well of those who have died in the last 30 days whose families remain in the Shloshim, the 30 days of mourning. We think of Mark Weiss, Roberta Weiss, Stanley Siegel, Molly Root, Marvin Stoneberg, Irma Sarah Samick, Morton Gross, Morton Goss, Gertrude Mark, Amos Oz, and Jean Westcote. Zichronam Livracha, may their memories be a blessing. Is there anybody else in our congregation that is in a period of mourning or remembering somebody special tonight? I invite you to please rise and share that name with our congregation. Thank you. Let's turn to page 294 and rise as a congregation. Together we remember the 6 million men, women, and children who died in the Shoah. We remember the thousands of Israeli soldiers who died so that we would have a Jewish homeland. And we think about our American soldiers who died defending our liberties. We take them all into our hearts with our own as we dedicate this plaque, and we recite these words of Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlik malchutei, B'chayachon v'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol Beit Yisrael, Ba'gala v'yizman kariv v'yimru Amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach le'olam l'almei almaya, Yitbarak v'yishtabak v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudashah b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, damiran be'alma v'yimru Amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu yaseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru Amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring peace to us, to all of Israel, and all people everywhere. And let us say, Amen. You may be seated. I'm going to invite up a member of our board, Michael Berman, to share some announcements and greetings from our temple board. And we are getting ready to gear back up after a quiet few weeks. Not even so quiet, but we have a lot of activities ahead of us. Thank you, Michael.
Thank you, Rabbi. And Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Wow, that's really cool. So obviously we've already geared up because this is wonderful to have everybody here tonight. So on behalf of our Board of Trustees, Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be together tonight. So I did bring up some props, but first of all, Mazel Tov to the Perlman family. You are on your way. It's a very special day, and very proud to have you become a responsible adult part of our community. And I'm sure we'll see you here most Friday nights and Saturday mornings. So as I say, I brought up some props because we have so many things going on. Obviously, we have our normal minyan and Torah study tomorrow morning, and our meditation starting at 8:20, I believe, right? And what time are your guests invited to join tomorrow? 4:15. Okay, so 4:15.
You've got to be there then too.
And so on Wednesday, the Rabbi Pomerantz is having a sacred conversation, one of a series. And next Friday, we have a special Kavanah retreat. And I won't say his name correctly, so I apologize in advance, but Rabbi Amichai Levi, is that close? Okay. And I'm told for those, and folks who know the rabbi, anyone? Right? So there are a few. I'm told that he is really inspiring and somebody who will really raise us up, and it'll be a wonderful experience. So for next Friday and Saturday. And then without going through everything, we have a huge number of Israel events going on, a 4-part series that Mark Baranek is running, which starts on January 30th. And speaking of Mark Baranek, for anybody that has had their eyes closed for the last couple of months, we all know that we've got a wonderful occasion coming up on Saturday, February 2nd, and to honor Mark and all the wonderful things that he has been doing and continues to do for our community and for our congregation. So once again, Shabbat Shalom, and thank you for being with us tonight, and Mazel Tov again for Paul.
Thank you, Michael. I just put in one more word for Rabbi Amichai Levi. He's actually developed something called storytelling, which is really remarkable if you've never seen it, and that will be at next Saturday's Minyan service. So it's a very dramatic interpretation of reading Torah, and it's very special to witness. So I hope you'll come not only Friday night, but Saturday morning as well. So a few weeks ago, I was driving to work, to the temple, and I was listening to the news, and the commentators were discussing the infamous redacted Flynn memo. And one of the newscasters said, Mayor Giuliani looked at it and said, oh, there's nothing there, it's bupkis. And the newscaster said, on the other hand, you could look at the same memo and say, oy vey. So the news story changed at that moment to the funeral of former President George H.W. Bush, and a new newscaster came on, but he continued the Yiddish chain. He said, in this verstonkene time of tsuris, today we have to do a mitzvah. So, right, I chuckled to myself, and you may think I was listening to some Jewish news station or Yiddish news station, but I wasn't. It was either NPR or CNN or one of those news stations. And the story stuck with me, not only because of how funny it was that they were using Yiddish, but it stuck with me because of the contrast between Mayor Giuliani's comment that there was bupkis in the memo, but the newscaster said, on the other hand, you could look at it and say, oy vey. Because so much of how we see things in life depends on our own perspective. Like the famous M.C. Escher sketches, some of you may know them. You can look at them one way and it looks like the river is flowing up, or you look at them another way and it looks like the river is flowing down. It all depends on how you see the picture. So this week in our Torah portion, it is the second portion in the book of Exodus, and it contains the story of the first 6 plagues that are visited upon the Egyptians by God. God's trying to convince the Pharaoh to redeem the Israelites, to let them go. And these plagues of, let's see if you remember what they are in order: blood, frogs, lice, insects, boils, and hail. Those are the first 6 that take place in this week's Torah portion. They were a destructive phenomena that caused horrible suffering for the Egyptians, but for the Israelites, they were the vehicle for our redemption. One of the greatest challenges of our divided and polarized world today is our inability to see things from another's perspective. We are so certain, and I'm as guilty of this as anyone, we are so certain of the correctness of our viewpoint that we cannot see another's, much less empathize with their story. A few months ago, I had the opportunity to participate in a 2-day seminar called My Neighbor's Keeper, and it took place at the University of Miami. And it brought together evangelical pastors, Muslim imams, and Jewish rabbis. An unlikely group, a motley crew, you could say. And at the beginning part of the day, we were divided into groups of 3 to tell each other our stories. I sat with 2 men, one evangelical pastor, one Muslim imam, and me. And both of them came from cultures where women generally do not assume the kind of leadership position that I hold in our community. So we started our conversation, nevertheless, on a basis of trust and respect, with a promise to listen to each other and really hear what the other had to say, to talk through our stereotypes and misconceptions of each other, and to recognize our commonalities, of which there were many. Interestingly, the most powerful part of the day came when we were divided into groups of our own. So where I sat with a group of rabbis, and we were tasked with writing down stereotypes and misconceptions of each of the groups that we believed we held or others held. And then we also had to counter that with what we believe were accurate statements about these other groups. Actually, you might find it interesting, I did, that the most challenging part for us rabbis was talking about ourselves and the perceptions of who we were, and we couldn't agree about anything. No surprise there. The activity was really a sobering one. It forced us to name ugly and painful stereotypes and misconceptions, and to admit to our own implicit biases about others and about ourselves. Sitting across the table from each other, the small table, helped us to see human beings instead of stereotypes, helped us to see people with real life struggles and hardships, just as we have, not just labels that we stick on other people to make things easy. You know, shifting perspectives is challenging, especially when it requires us to take apart long-held or even cherished beliefs. So I recently heard Malcolm Gladwell on a TED Talk podcast unraveling the entire premise of the story of David and Goliath. First, he talked about how much we underestimate David, the shepherd boy, and the potency and power of the ancient slingshot. I learned that in ancient times, slingers were valuable warriors, and that David's slingshot was not just a boy's toy, but a lethal weapon with a dense stone that traveled as quickly and forcefully as a bullet. Then Gladwell shed new light on Goliath, who the Bible describes as standing head and shoulders above everyone, but moving slowly. It's likely, claims Gladwell, that Goliath suffered from a form of giantism called acromegaly, which often causes nearsightedness or double vision. Though Goliath wore armor and had a sword, a javelin, and a spear, according to Gladwell, he didn't stand a chance against the quick-moving and skilled young David. How's that for turning a story on its head? So I feel that if Malcolm Gladwell can shed new light on this paradigmatic ancient story, how much the more so can we challenge ourselves to shift the perspectives that we cling to with certainty? You know, every year at our Passover Seders, we read the story of these plagues, and we read about it in this week's Parashah, Bo, as well, and then reenact them at our Seder tables. And we do this in order to celebrate the freedom of our people. But a midrash from our tradition chastens our victory. The midrash tells us that when the Egyptians were drowning in the waters of the sea, when God caused them to drown the Egyptians, that the angels up in heaven were cheering. And God reprimands them, saying, "My children are dying, and you are cheering? What are you doing?" Those Egyptians who drowned were indeed the enemies of the Israelites, but they were nevertheless God's children. And that's why we remove a drop of wine every year from our cup for each one of the plagues that we name. Because God visited these plagues upon the Egyptians, our cups of wine cannot be full when others have suffered on our behalf. Yes, the Israelites were delivered to freedom, but countless people suffered for our redemption. Through this midrash about the angels and the tradition of spilling wine from our cups, Judaism is teaching us a more nuanced way to appreciate how we see the world. It's often not black and white. It's often not bubkis or oive. It's usually gray. It's usually somewhere in the middle of those two extremes. This new year of 2019, as we are resolving to eat healthier and to exercise more, let us also resolve to keep our minds open to seeing new perspectives and to keep our hearts open to understanding each other. In this way, may we truly renew ourselves. Amen. So we are going to conclude our lovely Shabbat service this evening with the singing of Oseh Shalom. And I'm going to invite our congregation to rise and put your arms around each other, if you will, and join in song, a prayer for peace.
Oseh Shalom, Bimroma. There you go. Aseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimeru Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav Aseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael Oseh Shalom bimromav Aseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimeru Amen. Oseh Shalom bimromav Aseh Shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'yimeru
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
Always so good. Shabbat Shalom. I had a question. What did you start studying first, the fruit or medicine?
Oh, I studied the fruit when I was 9 years old.
Because it comes natural.
My father made me do it.
He was very good.
Thank you.
So Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Thank you. You're excellent.
How you doing?
Shabbat Shalom.
Have a good night.